And so here in the science section, what you need to do is realize that this test is all about independent variables and dependent variables
Mhm.
and trends. So, are you familiar with the dry mix?
Might want to go over it.
So independent variable is the variable you manipulate, and it's on the x-axis. Responding variable is the dependent variable, and it's on the y-axis.
Hmm.
So that's an acronym. So here, the independent variable is what?
The
Time. Yeah, time. And then also, there are two independent variables. Writer. So they change what two things? Time and the writer type, right? That's all you need to know. They change this and they change this. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
And what response?
The amount.
Yeah, D, whatever this is, right? Because you're not born knowing what that is.
Yeah.
It's just the measurement. So D.
Yeah.
Right. So great. And then how about this one? What independent variable? What are the independent variables?
The writers and time.
Yep, there you go. And what changes?
The measurement.
Yep, same thing. So same thing.
Okay.
Super simple. And so that's all there is to the test. And then one thing you can notice is trends, right? So as you go from 1 to 2, what happens? Well, 1 has this weird thing where it goes super fast at the end. 2 doesn't. There you go. Like you don't even need to read a lot of this stuff unless it specifically asks you to learn what D is and learn what P is.
Right. Okay.
And so you know what I call this section? I call this a treasure hunt for college tuition. Because that's what it is. All right, so how about this one? What is the independent variable?
The tree species.
And what is the dependent variable?
The average percent
Defoliation, yeah. So good. And so depending on the tree species, you have different defoliations. And then how about this one? What's the independent variable?
The months.
Yeah, months, time. And how about the dependent variable? What changes?
The stages of
Yep, the stages. You're already killing this. I swear this is all you need to do. And now how about let's see this one here. This one's just more like a graph that just tells you stuff. Light defoliation, all this stuff. Okay, what is the independent variable?
The years.
And what good. And what's the dependent?
The defoliation.
Yeah, the percentages of defoliation.
Okay.
Type.
Yeah.
Yep, so the defoliation type percentage. Sweet. And that was a complicated one, right? And now these ones, now these ones you do differently, okay? These have a different technique. These ones, you take bullet points and you want like 4 points for each student.
Okay.
So here, you say like, okay, CH4, so this is methane, generated by hydrothermal process, short distance beneath. So he says below. Hot fluids circulate basalt, so basalt, maybe you say hot. And then serpentine, the saltification produces H2O, produces this slow surface, where then it rises. Like just make 4 observations for each one. Now it's very comments. This guy says comments. So maybe you could have like mechanism by which it comes, heat, and then you could have like what it makes, you have how it's made for each person, And then when they're going to ask, okay, what does 1 say that 3 doesn't? What does 2 say that 4 doesn't? And then once you have your notes of like the basic stuff, then you can answer those easily. Sound good?
Yeah.
That's the answer to those. Now these ones over here for this, we're going to work on our independence here. So what are the independent variables?
The times and the
exposure time, the time exposed. And what else? Looks like the type of wavelength, nanometers.
Okay.
Right, like it could be this nanometers or it could be this nanometers. And don't be intimidated by NM. That's all it is. Just, I don't know, because they'll probably just tell you what NM.
Right.
So like this and this, All right, and then what is the independent?
The absorbance.
Sorry, the dependent is what I meant. Yeah, the absorbance depends on this. Okay, good. And then what's the independent for this one?
The exposure time and the NM.
Yes, and the wavelength or whatever. Yes, and also what type of color it is. I didn't realize. Right, and then how about this? What responds?
The absorbance.
Good. And now they could ask a million questions. What if they said, hey, what is the absorbance of yellow food coloring 427 nm after 12 minutes? You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't even, right? I just can't do this. I just give up, right? But all you have to do is it's a treasure hunt for college tuition, right? 427, 12, yellow, boom, this, right? That's how easy it is. Once you realize independent variables and dependent variables. How about this one? Independence?
Be the time, the food coloring, and the NM, right?
Yep, and then what changes?
The absorbance.
Yep, and then how does this work loosely? These ones you just have the foggiest understanding works for these, okay? Light shine on thing thing detect. Okay, that's literally all you need to know. So this is how they find the absorbance.
So
Probably.
like all this stuff like on the left is not very important.
Like you do need to know. They will ask you like about the method here,
Hmm.
and you'll have to know like the basics. They're just the very basics. Like just get the basic understanding, and that's it. And then once they
Yeah.
ask you the specifics, then you go in. You're like, okay, why do they use a colorimeter? You're like, oh, probably to measure the color, and the wavelength.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that'll be how you use it.
Hmm.
All right, last one here. So this table here, independent variable is the trials. What responds is going to be these things. Independent variable is the trials. What responds is these things.
Hmm.
And then here, loosely, some spheres going on, some rods, and a wire, I guess. Maybe conductivity is important. I don't know. Angles measured. Yeah, you don't need to know science. You just need to know how to read graphs and charts. So this one,
Yeah.
independent variable. This might be another independent variable, but probably not. And then dependents are going to be responding to this. So they're going to ask you, okay, trial 8, sphere E, what is the diameter? And let's say this is radius. I know it isn't, but let's just say it is. Then it'd be 8 this, and then you double this, and that's your answer. So that's like a very common kind of thing. All right, last section. You almost did it. We're almost there. Home free. All right, so this one right here, rectangle. So here's this awesome little rectangle here, and looks like this. What's the independent variable?
The alternate PRR.
Yeah, whatever that means, right? Pulse repetition.
Yeah.
You always just go and find the stuff. Like they'll tell you the weirdest stuff to intimidate you, and then it'll be right here. And then the
Yeah.
dependent, what is this?
The number of frogs.
Yes, number of frogs.
Or
So,
percent of frogs, yeah.
yeah, percent of frogs with this. It's just so wacky what you can measure in science. All right, well, cool. Last but not least, let me just tell you one other thing about the ACT. Ever seen Monsters Inc?
Yes, I have.
In Monsters Inc, they do this thing where they like prey on the children's scream. Like they bottle up the screams, right? The ACT does the same thing. They profit on your confusion, right?
Yeah.
You're like stressed out, like is their literal paycheck. Okay, so what you need to focus on is for this test is really just focus on the very simple dumbing it down kind of rules that I showed you.